Welcome to Real Life with Jenny. My name's Jenny Senapadaratna. Grab your favorite drink, get a snack or two, and we'll get started. Today I have Earl Grey tea from Caribou because they do something very special to their Caribou. Their Caribou Earl Grey, not sure what it is, but it's wonderful. And I have peanuts because I'm really hoping to talk my daughter into going for ice cream for my snack for the day. All right, let's get real. A couple weeks ago, I was talking with a great friend and we were talking about the podcast, which is sometimes really weird for me because I don't always remember what I've said in a podcast, to be honest, because I record them a couple times by the time I get the final product done. Matters on how much I cry or how much I laugh. Anyway, it doesn't really matter. So I'm not 100% sure what I say all the time. And so we're talking and I said, I have to be honest with you. I really right now wish that my podcast name was Fake Life with Jenny. I wish that I did not have to come on and be real with my podcast. I could just be like, so guess what I've learned in scripture this week? And it's really impacting my life. And yes, sometimes it does. Sometimes the scriptures, when I'm telling you the scriptures impacted my life, it really has. And then there's other times that I'm like, okay, I just listened to 8 chapters of Romans. Actually, today, I listened to 8 chapters of Romans because I was like, Lord, I am struggling through these chapters. I would really love to glean something. Right? That was just where I was today. I was like, Lord, okay. I actually spent most of my morning this morning crying. I even went to go pick something up at a hardware store. I walked in. I had to take my sunglasses off because I'm just not one of those people that can wear sunglasses inside because I'm just not that cool, I think. And I walked up to the register and the lady was like, sweetie, are you okay? I mean, because my eyes were bloodshot, because when I cry, it is not pretty. No one knows that. I mean, I cannot hide that I've cried. My whole face just shows the redness and the puffiness, and she actually gave me a Kleenex. She's like, why don't you take a few of these, honey? I looked a disaster when I was in the hardware store. And it really wasn't even about anything specific. Now, what's really fun is today I got my couch. I know I've talked about it before, and I was so fortunate to be able to go and get a brand new couch, which is so exciting for us. God just provided in ways that we never even imagined, including it being on sale. I know. I picked it out all by myself, which is super scary to pick out that big of a thing all by yourself, but I did, and I'm really proud of myself. And it came today, and I was so overwhelmed with other things that I just cried and I cried and I cried because it's not, it takes, now that my husband has Googled it, and it takes 6 weeks for a couch to kind of break in because it's really right now hard as a rock. And I'm like, it wasn't like this in the showroom. And just an emotional wreck when you're inside of a hardware store crying enough that the poor lady behind is like, sweetie, can I get you some Kleenex? Not trying to sell me Kleenexes, just giving me them. Life isn't always pretty, right? And I just have spent all morning just on and off, just weeping. Be honest, it is completely I am overwhelmed. In fact, I recorded a podcast last week that didn't make it because you could not understand what I was saying because I was crying so hard throughout the podcast that when I re-listened to it, that's all you heard. It was so bad because I am walking through things that not everybody knows about, right? Nothing bad, nothing, oh no, Jenny's life is falling apart. There's really none of that. It's just one thing after the other, right? That you're like, oh my, one more thing. Here we go. One more unexpected bill that you weren't expecting. One more silly kind of things like your fruit went bad before you can eat it. It has just been, Jenny is just emotional. And you're like, Jenny, you shouldn't cry over spoiled fruit. You're right. I don't like to waste money. That kind of irritates me. When you get we do a lot of Walmart orders, and I know I need to switch. I say that all the time whenever I'm on here. And you get it, and it's almost ready to be thrown away, and you do not eat that piece of fruit, and I still feel so wasteful. And it's that, and then another thing, and then another thing. And so I sat in the car for a couple minutes today, and after you leave the hardware store in tears, you probably should take a minute, right? Like, come on, Jen. And so I'm sitting there, and I'm like, why am I even upset? Have you ever been there? Like, why am I even upset? Like, God is doing such amazing things. I got my brand new couch today that He completely supplied, and miracles happened for that couch to get to our home. I even paid for delivery. Can you even believe it? Like, God just supplied so many things for it to get here, because we don't have a truck, which is part of the problem. And it was just so, and I'm sitting here crying over something that really doesn't matter, right? And so I did a Facebook Live on my Real Life with Jenny group, and talked about how God is moving in ways that are not exactly what I expected, right? So we're doing a fundraiser this year, and I'm going to be completely authentic because I feel like that's what I'm supposed to be. We're doing a fundraiser this year, and we've been doing them for years because our ministry is 18 years old, and that's the way we make money, is by fundraisers. That's just, unfortunately, part of doing ministry. When you run a nonprofit, you can't make a profit. So there we go. We're doing a fundraiser, and it is honestly the worst fundraiser that we have done in more years than I can count. It's just not going well. It's a really low amount of money, and it's not about that. But it just feels like, okay, what's going on, Lord? What are you doing? And then I look around at all the pieces around in our life, and God is supplying things that I can't even believe. I just got a new couch. Like, He's opening up doors in different places around the world. He is like providing things that you can't even believe. He's really moving. And so you're like, okay, what's going on? I expect Him to move in this fundraiser, right? Like, this is where I see you move. And God's like, no, I'm going to move in all these other areas. And I'm not upset about that. That's not why I've been crying. Really, it's just a multitude of stuff that you're like, ugh, Jenny, just get over it. Really? And it's okay. I'm moving on, and things, I'll cry and then I'll be okay. But I wanted to come on today because I think that our lives are so often messy, right? You look around and you're like, God, I see you moving, but I'm still in the car crying, right? I see that you're doing amazing things, and I'm still feeling overwhelmed, and I'm still feeling frustrated, and or you don't see God moving, right? You are feeling alone, and the bills are piling up, and you have a job that you hate, and you're frustrated with this person, and just you're looking around going, I see no good, right? I see no good. And I am coming on today because I feel like we just all need to take a deep breath and know that God sees that. When you look at the Bible, and one of the things that is so miraculous in my mind is the Bible is not made up of people that had things together. Like, there is, okay, Jesus was the only one that had everything together. Everybody else was a mess. Everybody else lost their temper, did stupid stuff. They all made big mistakes. Every single one of them made a mistake. And God was like, it's okay, just bring it to me. They got overwhelmed and cried in the hardware store over absolutely nothing. And God was like, it's okay, just bring it to me. And that's what I feel like I wanted to share with you, that no matter what's going on in your life, that the most important thing is just to bring it to Him and say, God, here it is. What do I do with this? Like, I am feeling like I should be more grateful and feeling like I should be more excited about all the phenomenal things that you're doing in our lives. And I keep focusing on this thing that's not working, on this fundraiser that's not working. And I know God's moving and He's supplying money in other ways that has nothing to do with this, and supplying doors that are opening, and doing miraculous things. My daughter just got back from a missions trip, and people got saved and people got healed, and God's moving. And my focus is on this one thing that's not going right. Lord, help me with that. And I'm guessing in your life, there's not just one thing going wrong, right? There's a lot that you're dealing with and that you're carrying and that you're overwhelmed with. And God's saying, hey, just give it to me. Just let me be part of it. I don't need to carry all of this by myself, right? This is not Jenny has to do it all. Although many days that's what it feels like, right? Many days I'm like, I have to do it all. And God's like, I just want to walk through this with you. That's the one thing that I love about all the Bible verses and all the people in the Bible, is the thing most of them, not all of them, but most of them have in common is that they walk through something really messy and something that was really gross. And whether it was sin or sin happened to them or whatever, and they still continued their journey with the Lord. And eventually, most of the time, things got better. And God still went, you know what? It's okay. It's okay to be messy. It's okay to not have everything together. It's okay to be like, how are we going to do this? And still walk with Him and be with Him. Well, that's all I have for you this week. I know life is messy, and I know that maybe you're not crying in the hardware store. But if you are, just know that God's like, it's okay to be crying in the hardware store. Just bring it to me. I'll walk with you. I'll walk with you. And know that God's got this, and He's got a plan that I don't fully understand, right? It's like that puzzle that we talk about. We don't get to see the box. We just see the one piece, and we're not 100% sure where it goes because we don't see where the box is. We just see this broken puzzle that we call life. And we're looking at this puzzle piece going, where does this piece go? Because it doesn't seem to fit. And God's like, I know where it goes if you just trust me. Well, you can find me on Real Life with Jenny on Facebook. I'm crying, sorry. Facebook, Instagram, and Be Real. You can also find me at christconnection.cc. I just want you to know that God loves you. And I know that I say that all the time. But honestly, it's a reminder to me because life feels really messy right now. And life feels like I don't know where it's going and I don't understand this piece that you have in front of me. God's like, hey, I know the whole picture. Can you trust me? So as we walk forward, trusting the Lord, just know that He loves you. He loves you and He's got a plan. Have a great week.